Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Panther Pourri, a Florida Hockey Now podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Langsam. Here with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Alex Lopez and TJ Peterson. And the Florida Panthers have won Game 5 of the 2025 Stanley Cup Final by a score of 5-2, and will have a chance to repeat as Stanley Cup champions on home ice in Game 6 on Tuesday. How we feeling, boys?
Pretty good. One more. Like, everyone keeps talking about how big momentum is. This series has shown us it doesn't matter at all. Every game is its own animal. I mean, the reality is the Panthers should be skating around with the cup right now if they didn't blow Game 4. But that's the last I'm going to say about a missed opportunity, and talk about how the Panthers now have to win once in the next 2 games to go back-to-back. And look at us. Who'd have thought we'd ever be here?
Not me. I mean, in terms of how I'm feeling, really just how little surprised I feel, I guess, is kind of dampening what might otherwise be elation. Like, I fully expected that. I fully expected them to win that game comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't concerned going into the game. I mean, I know I'm kind of out of it mentally a little bit, but, like, I wasn't really concerned going into the game. It was just like, all right, you know, don't give up the first goal. Don't take a bunch of penalties in the first period. And, you know, go from there. And then that's kind of exactly what happened until Brad Marchand decided to channel his inner Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid's hardly even channeling his inner Connor McDavid.
That's correct.
Brad Marchand has one less goal in this series than Connor McDavid does in the entire playoffs.
Keep in mind, Brad Marchand outscored Connor McDavid 2-1 in this game. There was a point in this game at which Brad Marchand had as many goals in the Stanley Cup Final as Connor McDavid has had in the entire 2025 postseason.
I'll say this now, and it'll be the last I talk about, you know, a potential Oilers Stanley Cup. But we're in a situation that's exactly the inverse of last year. Like, if the Oilers win the next 2 games and take the cup, the Conn Smythe should be still be Sam Bennett or Brad Marchand. Like, there isn't an Oiler that's deserving.
It's the playoff MVP. It's still going to be McDavid.
It's not Finals MVP is what you have to remember.
Connor McDavid has 7 goals the entire playoffs.
And I think he and Draisaitl are the only players this postseason with 30-plus points.
Does he really? Never mind then.
I mean, yeah, he's always been an assist guy.
Never mind then.
That would be like saying Wayne Gretzky doesn't deserve a
but Wayne Gretzky had goals too.
It might be Leon, honestly, because they both have 32 points. In my opinion, McDavid has clearly been the better player.
Yeah.
And there was a whole lot of people upset about this article headline, which asked, was Draisaitl the best sidekick of all time? I was trying to remember what the exact language was. And, like, people taking offense to the idea, like, he is a sidekick. He just is. There have been a lot of great sidekicks in NHL history. Jagr was one. Messier was one.
Yeah.
These are some of the best players of all time.
Yeah, you could be a sidekick and still be a Hall of Famer.
And I mean,
Sam
easily.
Bennett is also a sidekick.
Well, duh.
Duh.
I mean, he's like 2 tiers below Draisaitl. Sam Bennett is like a good second-line center. No team is going to be able to use Sam Bennett as their first-line center and do anything.
I don't necessarily agree with that, by the way, because the Panthers have had to use Bennett as a first-line center multiple times while Barkov's been injured, and it's worked pretty well.
Okay.
So, changing topics to who's going to bang the drum on Tuesday.
Bobby Lou.
Will Manso had a fantastic suggestion.
What would that be?
Future Miami Heat player Kevin Durant and Bam Adebayo.
Well, Bam Adebayo has already banged the drum in this series.
Bam did it Game 3, I think?
Game 3, yeah.
Yeah, he did it Game 3.
So, I mean, Game 3 went pretty well, but it should be Bobby Lou.
It's Luongo. Yeah, I know. But I just saw the tweet and I'm like, okay, this is a funny edit.
What about Sean Thornton?
God, no. No.
Didn't he do it in one of the home games last year?
I don't think so.
You should just let Marchand do it.
Yeah, just let Marshy do it.
Let Marchand do the drum and then jump down onto the ice to start the game.
No.
Got Mellenby?
That feels dangerous to do on skates.
I think Scott Mellenby's part of another organization.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, he's with the Habs, I think.
Yeah,
it's Luongo. It's 100% Luongo.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Bill Zito.
Let's get back to talking about this game. What an absolute clinic defensively. Like, the Oilers didn't really generate anything until McDavid finally went full McDavid to cut it to 3-1. And then, Reinhart ended the game 46 seconds later. Reinhart had scored before they'd even announced the McDavid goal.
That's correct, yeah.
Shots on goal after the first period were 8-3. Shot attempts in the first period were 24-11 in the Panthers' favor.
Yeah,
Connor McDavid, I don't think, had a shot on goal until his goal.
Yeah, the Panthers controlled that game. That was one of those where it's it was not as close as it seemed.
Yeah.
It was not as close as the score said.
And even
the score wasn't
a 3-goal win. It was a 2 or 3 goal gap for most of the game.
Yeah, but it really felt like that should have been a 3-0, 4-0 win.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't 3-0 after the first period.
Yeah, they were can the Panthers when the Panthers got that power play at the end of the period, and it's to go up 3-0, and I was like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, games 1 and 2 happened, and ever since then, Edmonton has only looked like they are in this series when they've been in desperation mode. That's it.
Yeah. And they got a lot of help to get to that desperation mode in Game 4. Let's be honest. I know I wasn't on for the post game, and I know you guys discussed it. But let's be honest. There was a lot of help. Speaking of help, there shouldn't be any bitching about officiating tonight. They let a lot go both ways.
They really did.
Oilers ended up, I think, with a 4-2 power play advantage.
The Jones penalty was not a penalty.
I disagree.
I thought that was on the weak side. That interference I thought was a bit weak.
I thought it was a completely reasonable call.
I thought if anything that should have been an interference and an embellishment. Considering some of the embellishment called on the Panthers in these playoffs, I can't remember who it was, but that person went down way too easily.
Speaking of embellishment, Jake Wallman. Hey, bud.
Yeah.
You should go back to acting school, bud. That was
terrible.
That was poorly done. You're not winning any Oscars.
That is the number one tell of embellishment, when somebody flips their head. That's how you know. That's how you know. Not every time, because some people are good at it, like Bobrovsky. But, Jake Malman is not.
I mean, if you're the ref watching that, he set that up so poorly. Gave the first soft cross-check, waited for the retaliation. It was so apparent what he was doing. That kind of flopping might have taken the puck off of Marchand's stick, though.
Could have tried that.
Yeah,
it might have worked. It might have worked instead of just being an absolute parking cone.
Well, I hope Jake Wallman gets Brad Marchand a nice Father's Day card tomorrow.
I'm just saying, both teams gave up a first-round pick for one for Jake Wallman and one for Brad Marchand. I think the Panthers made a better deal. Obligatory, fuck them picks.
Fuck them picks.
Course. We're 1 win away from going back-to-back. Fuck them picks. All day, every day.
6 goals in the Stanley Cup Final is worth a first-round pick all day, every day, regardless of how this series turns out.
Thank God Brad Marchand said, send me to Florida and only Florida.
Yeah. What a game he had.
What a series he's had.
Conn Smythe. I said it before the fucking final, and nothing has changed. Conn Smythe. Sorry, Sam Bennett. I know he's got the goals, but come on. The goals that Marchand have scored have been far higher degree of difficulty. He has had to do far more, whereas Bennett's just kind of been in the right place and gotten a lot of bounces. I'm sorry. I just feel that way.
TJ, what do you think Marchand's Corsi for percentage was tonight?
Why would I care about that? Did you see his 2 goals? They were unbelievable.
Completely fair response. He sure was unbelievable. The answer is 75, though. 15 for, 5 against.
I thought you were setting me up for he actually had 37%.
No.
Bennett had 57%, so actually
no,
Bennett's better.
I was trying to set you up for a Brad Marchand masterclass.
Brad Marchand masterclass. And he's done it all playoffs. He's been unbelievable. Conn Smythe, please, everybody, do the right thing.
Entertainment purposes only. I need it to be Bobrovsky. It's not going to be Barkov. It's not going to be Sam Reinhart. It's not going to be Tkachuk. My bigger entertainment bets are on those guys, but I do make a little bit of dollars entertainment only if it's Marchand or Sam Bennett.
Yeah. Look, it's either, if the Panthers win, it's either Bennett, Marchand, maybe Bob.
Yeah, I don't see Bob getting it at this point.
The one thing I could see is a Game 6 shutout. That could sway some Bobrovsky voters.
I think it would have to be like a 2-0 Game 6 loss and then a Game 7
I think if it's like a 40-save performance and it's like a 2-1, 2-0 win to clinch the cup, I think you can swing the votes. Because, again, you got to remember the media does not want to give it to Sam Bennett.
Correct.
I don't even know how true that is, but we'll see.
I will say the national media has been a little bit kinder to Bennett this over the past couple of games, to the point where I'm starting to think that maybe they would. You really haven't seen a lot of Sam Bennett slander from the media.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of it still from like Oilers fans and Leafs fans who are rage watching.
Yeah, let's not bury the lead. It's Leafs fans. Like, I honestly have not seen Oilers fans say anything bad about Sam Bennett. It's just the Leaf fans.
Lucky you.
They just can't shut up.
But
They
yeah,
do not have the willpower to find a second thing in their life to care about, and I really pity them for that.
Well, that is until the Leafs give Sam Bennett 11.
Well, the scuttlebutt certainly isn't that that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's been a lot of reporting over the last 2 days that the Panthers and Sam Bennett are real close to signing an 8x8.
See how good I did that transition, guys? I just led you right to that, and you took the bait.
I did.
Let's talk about that. What would you guys think of an 8 extension for Sam Bennett?
It's fine.
I would be okay with it. I'm not I don't want to go as far as happy.
Yeah, me neither.
I would be happy to keep Sam Bennett as a Florida Panther, and that is not a price tag that gives me pause on the contract. It's probably the highest I would go on keeping Bennett for 8 years, but I wouldn't exactly say that we're getting him at a team-friendly rate.
Yeah, what I would say is for that contract to be quote-unquote acceptable for me, the last half of it needs to be salary, not bonus, so you can buy it out when it inevitably...
And no trade protection.
Right. Yeah, like you just... Playoff Sam Bennett is real, especially with the way the NHL is officiated in the playoffs, where the line that you're playing hopscotch with is much further than it is in the regular season. Like, Sam Bennett's allowed to thrive. Like, I've gotten into this argument with so many fans who are complaining about the Panthers, and it's like, look, would the NHL be more entertaining if, skill was allowed to flourish both in the regular season and the playoffs? Yes, absolutely. The Panthers in 2020, was it 22? That won the President's Trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the most entertaining Panthers team of all time, scoring 4+ goals a night, up and down the ice, multiple 4-goal comebacks. Like, that was fun as shit hockey to watch. But what happened in the playoffs? You got bitch slapped by the Lightning, who play the current Panthers style. Because the line changes. What is a penalty, what isn't a penalty changes. So you either adapt or die. The Panthers adapted, and they've been to the Cup 3 straight times. So until the NHL changes the rules, players like Sam Bennett have additional value because of what they can do in the playoffs that they can't do in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is a good point. And, I've always said regular season, what does it matter? Very little.
Well, you've only started saying that over the past 2 years. But
once you become a good team, the regular season doesn't matter anymore.
We used to suck shit, Jake.
Trust me, I'm aware.
It's the same thing we've told the fans of the lesser teams now again and again. It's the mantra of just get in and anything can happen only applies when you're a good team. When you're, a team with 85 points sneaking in as the second wild card, no, you're going to get your ass kicked. Like, sorry.
Again, I don't think we as Panthers fans have any right to diminish the legitimacy of a wild card 2 playoff team, because let's not forget that that's what we did in 2023. We snuck in at the last minute and made it all the way to the final.
Kings won 8 seed. Nashville got to the final 8 seed. Go
St.
ahead.
Louis.
Underlying
St. Louis was
numbers.
not 8 seed. Go ahead.
Underlining numbers scream that the Panthers were not a wild card 2 caliber team.
That is correct.
If you use your brain, you didn't think the Panthers were a wild card 2 team that, went on a miraculous run. What ended up making that run miraculous is that they were absolutely walking dead, by the conference final and still, swept their way into the Cup final. But, that team was a wagon. Nothing really changed from 22 to 20 or 23 to 24. It was basically the same roster. Maybe OEL added in, but that was about it. And then they added Tarasenko at the deadline, so they weren't playing Zach Dalpe in the Cup final. But
Zach Dalpe, by the way,
huge
one
goal.
of Sam Bennett's biggest cheerleaders throughout this postseason.
I did not know that.
That dude's been all over Twitter talking about how great Bennett is.
I do not follow Zach Dalpe. I
I'm
figured
surprised to learn I didn't. Go
Is
ahead.
he still playing for the Checkers?
I don't believe
think
so.
so.
I don't know.
Well, that's two separate answers. Did he play last night?
I didn't see anything about him.
I don't know.
I think he signed somewhere else, actually.
Currently plays for the Charlotte Checkers.
Whoa. Wow.
Well, let's do our Charlotte.
Only played 9 games this year, though.
Maybe he's injured. Let's do our Charlotte Checkers segment for the benefit of our friend Josh Appel. They lost in, I would only call it semi-controversial fashion last night. Scored a goal.
And I think it's a lot more than semi-controversial.
It's not, and I'm going to explain why, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. An own goal was scored off the face-off because the Abbotsford goalie, Arthur
Shelovs,
was not paying attention. He was still drinking water or something, and the puck went into the net right off the face-off.
Well, that's his fucking problem.
It is, but the rule is the puck is not supposed to be dropped until the goalie is set. Now, if it's a situation where the goalie is intentionally stalling, like if it's off an icing or something, which I didn't watch the game. The only thing I've seen of that game is that play where it's right off the face-off. Like, if the goalie's intentionally stalling and the ref says, get set or I'm dropping the puck, and you're still not set, then it's on you. But, like, that's a situation where the job is, hey, the person who's dropping the puck needs to look at the goalie, see that he's set, look at the center, see that they're set, and drop the puck.
Okay, fine.
That's what it's supposed to be. If the roles were reversed and that goal was allowed to stand, Charlotte Checkers fans would be absolutely screaming mad. So, move on.
You mean Abbotsford fans would be screaming mad?
No, but if it was against Charlotte.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Right. So, if you're a Charlotte Checkers fan or you care about their run, move on to game 2.
Yeah, we're going back to the Panthers. I think you were about to say that.
Yeah.
We've given Marchand his flowers. We've talked about how it was a stifling defensive effort. McDavid, just overall in this series, hasn't really made an extraterrestrial impact other than once in Game 2, a game that they didn't even win. The Oilers didn't even win. And as I pointed out, other than when they were in desperation mode, since Game 2, series has been all Panthers.
Yeah.
Which, look, Oilers are about to go into desperation mode, Game 6. And I would say, if you look at the Panthers over the course of this playoff run, this has not been a spot that they've thrived in. They've had 2 chances to close out series at home, Game 4 against Carolina, Game 6 against the Leafs, and that was probably their 2 worst games of the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm hoping this time is going to be different, considering they know that, like, well, I guess it's the same as round 2, where it's like you got to go to a hostile Toronto or a hostile Edmonton for Game 7. So let's hope they learn their lesson and can close it out at home. It's much sweeter to watch the cups. It's much sweeter to skate the cup around on your home ice with your home fans rather than an empty building with a half a dozen Panthers fans.
Oh, no, the building's never empty for that. Never.
But you know what I mean.
Less enthusiastic.
Yeah, much less enthusiastic.
Right. You're talking about having, 95% Panthers fans in the building versus, maybe 20.
I mean, hey, there were rats on the ice tonight that was not after Game 2. So the Panthers fans who made the trip are learning.
By the way, can we talk for just a second about the guy who shed the McDavid jersey to reveal a Kachuk jersey?
Yeah.
Well, that's preordained.
That was right. Like that was a stunt, right, of some sort.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's not funny.
Yeah, it's either that guy was either a stunt to get his 15 minutes or it was like the gambler who bets against his favorite team. So it's like, I bet on the Panthers to win. So when they or I bet on the Oilers to win. So when the Panthers lose, I'm either causing a reverse jinx or I make money. So I think that guy was like putting on the Kachuk jersey to try and get the reverse jinx going. That's my guess. That or it's a stunt looking for your 15 minutes.
You guys have absolutely violently beaten that out of me. I used to be the bet against his own team guy.
Yeah, I can't abide by that. I also can't ever bet for teams I hate. Like I'll never bet for the Florida Gators or the Florida State Seminoles to win a game.
I was a Carter Verhaeghe goal away from hitting on a 4-leg parlay tonight.
Yeah. Well,
that's how it always goes.
The entertainment purposes only of Draisaitl in particular scoring in Game 1 overtime. It sticks with me. It sticks with me because I had 3 legs hit and I just needed him to be under 1.5 points. But anyway, that's just entertainment purposes, and we move on.
There's a reason the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino has this giant fancy guitar-looking addition to it, and the casino itself has recently come in completely renovated because everybody gets 3 out of their 4 parlays and misses on the 4th leg at the buzzer.
30% profit boost, man.
You
So
know,
enticing.
Here's the thing, though. The battle of the bets has me questioning if that's going to actually continue, because look at this. I bet $1 and ended up winning a $50 bonus bet, and then I bet the $50 bonus bet on a boosted bet that cashed, and I turned $1 into $141. How can that be sustainable for Hard Rock?
Because I think you're the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, especially now with the change they made to it, where they're like, instead of they were giving you 2 long shot like 8-1 bets, and now they're giving you like 3 options of 20-1 bets. Like, it's so much harder to get that bonus bet now.
But now you get $50 if you do hit it, which is why I got $50.
Right, but then you got to win that next bet. It's not like you can just cash that. It's not for $50.
But the stake was just so minimal that I am forever going to be satisfied by that.
You should be.
I took around $225 out of my account to send the money to my friend David, our friend David Jacob, for concert tickets, and then I basically made it almost all of it back because of the battle of the bets.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I think I was saying that I felt like we pretty much covered all angles of this game. Maybe you guys want to talk about something that we haven't talked about yet?
It was nice for the Panthers to get a fortunate bounce goal, considering how many the Oilers have gotten this series with that Sam Bennett goal where, Chucky shoots the puck. I think it was right into Wallman, and it just settles perfectly for Bennett to put it in. Like, that puck was, or that shot was played so badly by Picard that, like, Bennett shot it into the center of the net and beat Picard's glove. That's how badly he was out of position. And that's not like, oh, he had bad luck. He was so far out of the net to face the Chucky shot when it's on the rush and there's multiple people. That made no sense. And that's what happens when you start a journeyman mid-tier backup goalie in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. They make mistakes like that.
I mean, he went to his goalie coach and say, it is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. And then his goalie coach was like, no, you actually made a mistake. I hope you understand why I said that, Jay.
Because his name is Picard, or it's Pickard, but
it's Pickard.
That's a
and
Star
Alex
Trek
just called
reference.
Him Picard
Star Trek
several
Next
times.
Generation reference. Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
The GOAT Star Wars captain.
Star Trek,
excuse me.
Boy.
I know, I made that mistake. And I actually like, if it's a Star
We're just
Wars...
old. Come on, we can just say the wrong word.
Guys,
No.
I've barely slept this week. It's been a very rough week.
Same, obviously for different reasons, but...
Different reasons here. I haven't got much sleep either.
But yeah, like, between Star Wars and Star Trek, I like both, but, like, Star Wars is up here for me. Star Trek is, like, here. So, but yeah, Captain Picard, way better than Captain Kirk.
And way better than Calvin Pickard, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And one last nerd thing. On the cruise I was just on last week, there was like an aquatic action show on the Royal Caribbean ship. And like each segment of the show had like music from like different genres. And one of the genres was a Star Wars segment. And it was like all this like techno Star Wars music. The entire thing, like it was a 3-minute segment, 2 minutes and 58 seconds of the music was Star Wars, and then the last 2 seconds was the Star Trek The Next Generation, like, little jingle. And I'm just like, no, that is not how this works. Like,
You can't conflate.
you can't mix them. Like, if you were going to do sci-fi and do both of them the whole time, like, then it could work. But when your entire thing is Star Wars and you finish with 2 seconds of Star Trek, whoever put that music together didn't know there was a difference.
Or they were trolling very effectively.
That's possible.
That's true, because it annoyed me so much. It annoyed me so much. It was an amazing show. That was the weakest of the segments. But, you know, this is not us with a partnership like we had with Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah.
But if you're ever on one of those new Royal Caribbean ships, you have to see the aquatic action show. It's freaking incredible.
One last note on Calvin Pickard. Shout out to getting scored on multiple times by Brad Marchand. You can take the man out of Toronto, but you can't take the Toronto out of the man.
I forgot he was there.
He was only there for like one season, and I think he was a very effective backup.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah. He's well-traveled, as they say.
He sure is.
Yeah.
So what do we think the Oilers do in net for Game 6 though? Because I don't think there really is a correct answer.
You have to go back to Skinner.
I think they will go back to Skinner.
He's allowed 9 goals in his last 4 periods.
You don't have a choice. Pickard, he can make what he's not going to do is give up a softie, even though he was way out of position on the Bennett goal. Even if he's in position, that's a very difficult save to make because a deflection with an angle change, even so slight as a couple of feet, is very, very difficult to stop. He just made it easy on Sam Bennett to put that in the net. But, he's not going to make you the huge saves that save a game, even though he kind of did it in game 4.
Yeah.
But, that's not something you can count on from a guy like Pickard. It's much more boom or bust with Skinner, but you at least have that potential.
Do you guys think that there's more in the tank for McDavid, Draisaitl, anybody that... Because, honestly, is there an Oiler that you thought looked like they were up to the task? Because I didn't see one.
Not really tonight, but I don't think that's I don't think that's a gas left in the tank thing. I think that the Panthers were just better tonight. I think they were just that much better tonight.
Yeah, the one day off in travel definitely benefited the Panthers.
Them, yeah.
Considering the Oilers have been double and triple shifting their top guys. I mean, Draisaitl had 23 minutes tonight. Darnell Nurse played 20 minutes, even though he's beyond mid. McDavid, almost 26 minutes. Bouchard, almost 28 minutes. You can't keep that up forever, and then a cross-country flight and only one day off. That's not sustainable. They were gonna run out of gas soon. The Panthers had one forward over 20 minutes of ice time tonight.
Oof.
Oilers had a few, and then I think Forsling led the Panthers in ice time with 25 minutes, and it's 25:01. It wasn't even 25:48.
There's only really one guy on the team that I think has a risk of actually becoming tired, actually the fatigue actually hitting them on the Panthers, and that's Matthew Tkachuk, who had a great game in Game 4.
I would argue that Barkov, there is a fatigue risk, just because for all the things he is, I wouldn't generally consider durable one of his more endearing qualities.
I don't know if that's about durability, though. I think it's about conditioning.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and he also, I say only, but he played 19:31 tonight. That's not a heavy load for a Stanley Cup Finals game number.
For your top line center,
yeah.
Man, Edmonton, they did not have it. That is indisputable.
And this is just another in the bucket, by the way, of the games have either been close or dominated by the Panthers.
Yeah.
Once again, through 5 games, the Oilers have yet to dominate a game.
They will have to do it twice in order for us to say that they deserve to win the Cup. If they win 2 games and one of them is overtime, one of them's close, that will be the Panthers' quote-unquote 4th deserved win.
Yeah, they get credit for the furious comeback in period 2 of Game 4.
Totally.
But the Panthers were the better team for 40 minutes plus overtime, and they got a fluky goal.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the Oilers haven't had stretches of being better than the Panthers, but there has not yet been a full game in which the Oilers have just dominated.
Yeah, and you just don't think that the team that is top-heavy is going to be able to thrive in the environment where the compounding fatigue is just piling up and exponentially affecting you more and more. And also, the ice isn't good, and they're players that rely upon quick stick handling and skating are not going to be as effective. Chaotic environment favors a team like the Panthers way more, I would suggest. This isn't setting up well for them.
The Panthers more,
yeah,
and the later the series goes, the fewer penalties are going to be called.
Yeah. Once again, the ice was terrible in Ottawa. Not in Ottawa, in Edmonton tonight.
Well, ice is pretty terrible in Ottawa too. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's so bad they're not even playing on it right now.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was going to say it's so bad there's probably not even any ice. But yeah, the ice was awful in Edmonton tonight, but no Pierre LeBrun tweet. I wonder why.
Confirmation bias.
It is. That's exactly what it is. Like, I know Edmonton traditionally has the best ice in the NHL, but guess what? It's warm up there too, and the ice is not good.
No. Should be better, honestly, I think. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything left to talk about from tonight. We talked about the goaltending. That's what the last thing I wanted to get to. Yeah, you have a shot to close it out at home.
Please do it.
Yeah.
Which I'm, again, because of the 2 previous times they've had closeout games at home, I'm scared.
Yeah, that's been their 2 worst efforts of these playoffs, is the 2 closeout attempts. Yeah, they definitely cannot afford to... Well, they can't afford to, because we've seen, like, how many...
They can win Game 7 on the road, easily.
Yeah, but let's be
I
honest.
wouldn't go as far as easily, but yes.
It was the Leafs in the Panthers spot, and Game 4 went exactly as it went. Leafs get blown the fuck out tonight. Like, there's not a mentally stronger team in the NHL than the Florida Panthers.
Absolutely not.
Like, so many teams, after blowing a 3-goal lead and losing on home ice, absolutely fall apart the next game and now have to, win 2 in a row to keep their cup hopes alive. But the Panthers came out and just like, okay, we blew a game, on to the next one.
Yeah, and that's why I said I wasn't surprised at all that they won the game. They're the better team. I expected them to win. They didn't even make it close. It was not close.
All right, where are they rating us 5 stars tonight?
Well, let's throw Netflix one more bone. Rate us 5 stars at the 9th green at 9.
There you go.
All right.
And good luck at the 2025 Waterbury Open. We'll see you on home ice for Game 6, where the Panthers will have a chance to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. Good night, everybody. Go Panthers.
And go Checkers.